got Ollie a little over 2 years ago, and we've been traveling ever since. I knew I would be going back to the Philippines pretty soon, and I also knew it would be complicated, and possibly costly to take him with me, and it has been every bit of both. The worst part is the difficulty in finding the sources of information and very little consistency between those sources.
This video is going to document my process in trying to get him to the Philippines. Now, since I'm not there yet, I don't know if this is going to be a "this worked for me" kind of video or a "don't let this happen to you" kind of video. Either way, I hope it'll help you get your dog to the Philippines. So when I decided to bring Ollie to the Philippines, I started gathering as much information as I could online. I Googled websites, I went on YouTube, and I also asked on the various expat Filipino Facebook groups that I belong to, and started gathering as much information as I could from all these different sources, none of which were, complete, of course. Essentially, when you start this process, there are three areas of concern that you need to think about. The requirements by the airline, whichever airline it is you choose, the USDA requirements for taking a pet out of the country, and the Philippine requirements for bringing them in. The website for Philippine Airlines was pretty sparse in terms of pet requirements, and they were a little bit hard to find. Here's a few screenshots. You have to go find the prepare button and then find the baggage information, and then go to the paw print for pets. But as I said, the information there was not real complete. I actually found more and better information on the American Airlines website, and you'll find a lot of good information there regarding the kind of crate that you need and that kind of thing. Now, if you want to call the Philippine Airlines, here is the number that I got, and I believe I was talking to someone in the Philippines, and getting information from them is like pulling teeth. I literally called 3 or 4 times before I got all the information. Even then, for instance, for a while he was telling me I have to wait until 48 hours, within 48 hours to the flight, to make arrangements with the cargo desk to get Ollie on the plane. And then the last time I talked to him, he said up to 48 hours. So I never did figure out whether it was within 48 hours or up to 48 hours of the flight. I believe I finally made arrangements further out than 48 hours. So my guess is do it as soon as you can. on about the third phone call, he finally gave me this email address to which to send documents. He didn't tell me which documents to send, so I just emailed as many documents as I could. A few days later, I emailed them again asking them to acknowledge receipt of my previous email. Still nothing. I called him back and he said, hold on. And he said, they are in receipt of your documents. And that was it. I think after they received those, then I was able to make arrangements, sort of reserve a spot for Ollie on the plane. But the spot really wasn't reserved because it is right up until the day of boarding that they can say, no, we can't go, for a number of reasons. One of them is you need to pay attention to the temperature. If the temperature at the airport is 85 degrees Fahrenheit or over, they will not accept the pet. Now, as far as USDA requirements, they simply require that within 10 days of your flight,
just sitting here
you
on the
get a
beach.
USDA certified vet to do a health screening on your dog and then submit the form online. That's the fastest way to do it. Mine did it while I waited. There is one other detail that you might need to pay attention to. My permanent address was in Texas, but I was living and going to a vet in Missouri, so she could not list my Texas address on the form since she was certified in Missouri. So we just had to put down a Missouri address, same state that she was certified in. So make sure your vet is in the same state as your permanent address. So here's a quick update while I'm walking Ollie. Just before I went to Portugal a few weeks ago, he had his updated vaccines and tests. And one of them was a test for Ehrlichia, for which he tested positive. Now, positive test doesn't necessarily mean he has it. It's an antibody test, so it means he has had it sometime in the last year. Now, the bacterium that causes that disease is I think it's in the class of mycoplasma. It's a wall-less bacteria. Not that you care about that, but it means it's intracellular. So it's hard to treat with normal antibiotics. So he's on 28 days of doxycycline. After that, he gets tested with a PCR test to see if it's still there. Now we're scheduled to leave in 2.5 weeks. So I haven't heard back yet from the vet as to what her opinion is on the likelihood of him being approved for an import into the Philippines with that on his health certificate. Just waiting to see what she thinks. She's going to talk to the USDA. Oops, there goes Ollie after some deer. Well, as it turns out, when she did the health certification, I don't think she even mentioned the Ehrlichia diagnosis on the form. So it wasn't a factor. It was stress over nothing. The certificate itself, I got it as a PDF by email, and I had to print it out, all 4 pages of it. I printed out 2 copies just to be sure.
You looking for something?
Come on, you.
The Philippine requirements. Here's the website you need to go to. Intercommerce Services. Now, they have several websites. This is the only one that I could get to work. This form, I can't remember why I had to fill it out, but I did. The Annex C came to me as a PDF, and I couldn't write on it, so I literally copied it down into Word document, filled it out, and sent it in. Now here's the website once you get in. It's not a very user-friendly. I had to do it 3 times before I got everything in. But as you can see on this next screenshot, after the 3rd time here they're considering it, and then a day or 2 later it was approved. Once it is approved, it took me a long time to figure out that way down at the bottom of the page was the link for actually printing out the document. So I knew I wanted to leave from LA because I knew that the only direct flight without any connections was from LAX to Manila. Now, I was going to be living in Missouri near my sister during the summer and fall, so my plan was to rent a car and drive to LA.
Riding, very good in the car. Never gets impatient or anything.
From the St. Louis area, stay in a hotel a few days, and then fly from there.
Ollie loves hotels.
In LA, a few days before our flight, I took Ollie with me to the airport several times, just so he would not be stressed out.
What
about
a nightmare this is. LAX. Just making a trial run. Today's Thursday. I want to know where I'm going when I come here on Saturday morning. This is without a doubt the worst airport I have ever been to. This is a nightmare getting into and out of. I went around here 3 times, and then had to park a mile away.
The big day finally came, and got into the airport, and getting Ollie into his place of travel went off without a hitch.